Well, hello there. Yes, it's the Nailsin ratings. I'm going to talk about Aquaman. Now, a lot rests on the shoulders of Aquaman. The entire DCEU really rests on him. If he bombs, oh boy. Now, there's two more movies coming anyway, but who knows? I mean, the idea of them maintaining some sort of shared cinematic universe it really depends on this. And even though the other two, so far from the teasers from Shazam, shows it's clearly being depicted as living in the same world that Man of Steel was in. But they could easily take that out. Reshoots are going on and all this sort of thing. So maybe just in case they shoot one where it's not in it. Aquaman tanked. But that still leaves Wonder Woman, who clearly is a part of it. And so the rumor would be, it's a time travel story, and she'll reboot the whole thing. But it may lead them, the executives, to think, we'll just scrap the whole idea and we'll do superhero movies, but none of this shared thing, which I would really be upset about that, because DC Comics is a shared universe, and we've seen the standalone movies for a long time, and that's fine and all, but I've seen that. The idea of doing a DC version of the Marvel version, everybody says, they can't do it the way Marvel did it. Why not? And by that, I mean it's just a shared universe. Tone and style, that's a different matter. But just the structure of it is making a bigger deal out of it than they should. So anyway, the advanced reviews are pretty damn good coming out. Now, keep in mind again, the advanced reviews for Batman vs. Superman, apparently it was a standing ovation. And I have to assume that, yes, this was the theatrical cut, which is pretty awful. The ultimate cut is pretty good. Still a very flawed movie. There's some bad things in it. But overall, not quite deserving of the massive hatred that it received. But it did. And that leaves us in the position that Aquaman is in, where the stain and the feeling burnt by these movies, and then, of course, the failure of Justice League, which never had a chance with all the meddling going on, and then with that Frankenstein monster they put up there, which, all in all, there's another one that doesn't really deserve the hatred that it gets, but it's almost in the same position as Solo, where it's just, no, you don't get a chance. So, DC sucks and Marvel rules. Those are the rules. That's the way it works. So, it's kind of unfair for Aquaman in his, which really this is more or less his solo debut here. It's his own movie. And, he has to exceed far beyond what other movies would have to. And I think that's still true, even though in his favor a whole year has gone by since then, and maybe attitudes will change. But one of the reviews is really over the top. Someone said it was the best movie since Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight. There's no way that's the case. Another one that's probably more accurate and possibly what I expected it could achieve would say it's the best, the second best behind Wonder Woman. And that's probably the more accurate one of these advanced viewing of the movie. So would that be enough for the DCEU? Well, it wouldn't. At this point, with the time going by, that might be a factor here that helps out the DCEU, so that the other two films have a chance. And so long as none of those are total bombs, Shazam and Wonder Woman, then we're back on. And what happens after that, I don't know. Hopefully we will get a Superman movie at some point. I have no interest in the other ones. I really don't. The side projects could be interesting and whatnot, but they're just side projects. As for the DCEU, that's a totally different animal. And I'm hoping they can get back to Superman. We know there's supposed to be a Batman movie, but that's up and down, all around. I don't know what's going on there. So Aquaman, so far the trailers in which looks pretty fantastic. Some of the jokes come across as cheesy. Hopefully, cheesy. Hopefully those are at a minimum. And primarily is action. James Wan is a solid director, and from what's been said and rumored, it seems like he's had pretty much total control of this, and hopefully that's the case, because to the detriment of the other movies has been the meddling. It appears that the least amount of meddling was Wonder Woman, and that was to her benefit, and pretty much put her at the top of these movies. And one of the things that was the best about Wonder Woman was its simplicity. It wasn't complicated. It didn't have all this excess baggage stuck all over it. They just stuck the little Easter eggs in it that said, yeah, it's in the shared universe, and that's all you needed to do. And then it told her story. Very simple. So just tell Aquaman's story. And if they want to, I don't think there's going to be very many Easter eggs. I think James Wan already said that, yeah, he's not going to make much mention of any of that, if at all. Although there's been reports that there's a mid-credit teaser thing, and as to what that is, it might just be a teaser for the sequel to Aquaman, which will probably feature more of Black Manta. Because Black Manta, as cool as he looks, is apparently kind of the secondary villain here, whereas Aquaman's brother, Ocean Master, played by Patrick Wilson, will be the main villain. So maybe that'll be what it is, or it could be something that Warner's tacked on. Well, if that's all they do, fine. And if it's some teaser about Shazam or something like that, that's okay. And it might not even have anything to do with James Wan, but his movie you'll see in full, and that would be for the best. And so yeah, if you keep it like that, then it could match up with what Wonder Woman and follow the template that her movie laid down, and hopefully they don't go too far afield of that when they get to her sequel and ruin their one big hit prize. But they could have another one. A lot about this looks really good, the visuals and everything. And again, James Wan is a force to be reckoned with. He's done, he pretty much made the Conjuring universe, which is kind of a lot smaller in comparison to something like this, but he did it. And so if he makes a big win out of this, maybe they should look to him as being the overall overlord of DCEU. Where they put all that on Zack Snyder but didn't listen to him and overruled him constantly. If you're going to do that with one, you got to take the reins off, because that's not going to work. So sounds good. Hopefully it works out. I'm pulling for it. I'm biased towards it because I want a good DC universe. I like the Marvel movies. Well, most of them. Some of them I didn't like at all. But I want more. And I think it's best to have competition. And I like the DC characters, and I want to see them get respected. And the idea of that universe being displayed and portrayed. I want to see that too. So pulling for you, Aquaman, and I hope it works out. And so far, so good. It looks like this might happen. It's a bad time to be released, I think. So, but then again, they can kind of excuse any kind of bad numbers on that. But hopefully it'll work out. Dark Knight material, I don't think so. But Wonder Woman, yeah, Aquaman could probably do as good of Wonder Woman. It doesn't have to beat Wonder Woman, but in that vein and that era, and that idea is a good example to follow for their future superhero movies. All right, thank you for joining me here, and why not like and subscribe and check out the link description below. That'll take you to my many stores that have plenty of goodies for you.
Hello, Dad.
I'm gonna need some money. I've suffered an injury, and I'm gonna need some more rectal reconstruction surgery. I promise this will be the last time, Dad. Oh, damn it, this isn't the bathhouse.
Meanwhile, in the city of the future. What do you think, Melons? I mean, Commander.
Would have communicated
Stand by for our arrival.
Hey, man, you know what's in outer space?
I don't know what.
Gas.
Stupid, 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 stupid.